We are live. I have got a great guest in the green room. But until then, here's a song. Sometimes in our lives, I can't hear myself. There we go. Let's do that. Let's try again. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. It's too low, isn't it? I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on me. That's better. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. So I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Hello, Llew. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Ashley. How are you?
I'm all right now. I've done that song. Because my headphones are on, I couldn't actually hear myself singing. Yeah. So probably a good thing, I suppose. So, Llew Nicholls, tell me, why did you choose that song, sir?
It reminds me a lot of my dad, but also, so I've recently done the 14-hour surf challenge, and something that really I really surfed for 14 hours is something I really enjoyed, but none of it would be possible without, first of all, my wife, but also everybody else that helped raise publicity, like yourself, and everybody that donated. So it's really pertinent to what's just happened, really. Yeah.
No, perfect. Yeah, we do need to lean on people, and I think the biggest problem we have is we don't ask.
Yeah. Exactly.
And as my mother always taught me as I was a kid, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Don't get, yeah.
You know, and so you turn around and go, can you? And if they can, brilliant. If they can't, that's fine. Yeah, but at least you asked. Yeah. Which is why you're here today, because you asked me to see if I could I could help. So it all helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence, because you've been on BBC TV, so maybe we're a little bit we're not so good now.
No, it's all part of raising exposure and getting out there. But I approached you, so in some ways this is more desirable, actually.
Oh, a lovely recovery. A lovely recovery. I do like that. I think that was absolutely, you did that beautifully. So Victoria Graham, is she on your Christmas card list now?
Yeah. So I met Victoria a few years ago, actually probably about 4 or 5 years ago at an event. It was really weird. It's like, have we met before? And she's like, no, I don't think so. I was like, pretty sure we've met. And then we got chatting, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm on BBC Spotlight. I'm like, well, that's how I feel like I know you already. But obviously at the time, I just didn't put the two and two together. And then I saw her on TV, it's like, obviously.
It's funny when you meet famous people, you do this sort of like, I know you. How do I know you? How do I know you? And like, oh my goodness, you are. And I can't think of anyone famous. You are Liam Neeson, aren't you? You know, oh my goodness. So yeah, no, great. And so, why? I've got some questions. I've got some questions to ask you that I ask all my guests, and then we'll go into this charity fundraiser that you did, because I'm sure a lot of people want to know all about why anyone in their right mind would go and jump in a lake, swimming pool, whatever you want to call it, the wave, for 14 hours. So we'll get to that. But first of all, why do you use LinkedIn?
It's I've used it for probably about 5 or 6 years now, maybe up to probably more like 8 actually. And it's it's gone through phases of good books and bad books for me, because probably about a year or two ago, it just got really spammy. And I kind of sort of fell out of love with it a little bit, but I think they've cleaned their act up a lot now, and I think you get a lot less of that. And really, it's about building relationships, because business is about relationships, and it's another tool to help you do that. I don't really agree with the whole LinkedIn police. Well, that should be on Facebook, or that should be all. It's like, I'm a person, and if something is important to me, then I'll put it on whichever social media channel I think is relevant, and that might be LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. So it's all part of being a human, because business people are humans at the end of the day, and they're more human than they are business people, if that makes any sense at all.
It makes a lot of sense, and you're quite right, and that's the thing. And I don't get this whole LinkedIn police thing either. It's people buy from people who they know, like, and trust, and that's the best way of getting trust. So what do you like about it then, Llew?
It's probably the best way to find out people that work in specific companies. So if you wanted to be connected with someone at Colgate or Nestle coffee or something like that, you can generally find the people that, or at least someone that is at that business, connect with them and start a relationship with them. So you can almost find anyone in any business. And in being in business development, that's really, really vital to building, because picking up a phone call, yes, it can work, and it does work. But sometimes you got to use different avenues and multiple avenues to be able to connect with people, because different touch points help, really. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I used to sell photocopiers in the day, and oh my goodness, if we'd have had LinkedIn back then, it would have been so much easier. Much easier. So do you post your own content?
Yes, I do. To be honest, most of my content's more personal as opposed to business related. And I don't know if that's hugely intentional. I just think it's more interesting, really. And also, it takes a lot of time to write content about a specific topic, and I'm not the best copywriter. I have in the past had people that have helped me with that kind of stuff. So in that instance, generally I'll post, about my charity challenge, I'll post about bodyboarding, I'll post about sports and my family. And I think that helps to keep me personal and creates a point of where you can relate to someone.
No, perfect, absolutely superb. Ali Spargo has got. Oh, where's it gone? There. Ali Spargo has got impeccable taste. Thank you very much, Ali. Nice to see you. So, I really want to talk to you about this charity thing, but I need to ask you a couple of questions about what you actually do.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I work with accountants, and we do something called CDP, which is continual professional CPD, which is continual professional development. So you're working with CBD product lines.
CBD,
that's a little bit different, I'm sure.
It is very different. Yeah. So CBD is it's the abbreviation for cannabidiol. And so the cannabis plant has loads of different chemicals in it, basically. And cannabidiol is one of the chemicals that come out of the cannabis plants. And essentially, that is something that people have taken for a very long time. You've also got cannabinoids, and a cannabinoid is a term for a chemical that comes out of the cannabis plant. And we all have receptors in our body that react to things like painkillers, opioids, etc. And the endocannabinoid system is your receptors, basically. So I work for CBD Brothers. We are the oldest CBD company in the UK, and we are a manufacturer. We've got a license to grow in Guernsey, so we've got a 2-acre farm in Guernsey, but then we've also got a manufacturing facility in Suffolk, and I work in the head office in Exeter. My main role is working with B2B, so I work with resellers all over the country, but then we also produce for various companies as well. So we can create a formulation for you that suits your business needs, really. Yeah.
Fantastic. And do you ever do trips to your farm? Because I'd love to go out and have a look at that farm.
Oh, man.
That sounds awesome.
I haven't yet, and it's in Guernsey, and Guernsey's got crazy good surf as well. So
yeah, absolutely,
it would be a pretty good trip out. We do post a lot about our farm in Guernsey because there isn't, to our knowledge, we're definitely the first, but I don't know if there is another company that grows and manufactures in the UK. A crazy stat that some people didn't know is the UK is the biggest exporter of medical grade cannabis in the whole world, which
wow.
I know, it's ridiculous. But we don't use a huge amount of it here. Regulation is changing, and that's different to what I kind of work in. I work in CBD. This is obviously the medical stuff would be a higher THC. So generally THC that's what makes it high. But things like epilepsy, things like people with extreme anxiety and stress and stuff like that, they have found that THC helps a lot with that kind of stuff, and also pain as well. So some cancer sufferers are on medical grade cannabis because it helps immensely with pain, and also has less side effects than some of the stronger opioids.
Oh, interesting stuff. And you really did that well. I'm impressed. You talked about Guernsey and the surf. So come on, let's talk about surfing. Let's talk about what you did last week.
Yeah, so on Tuesday last week, which is the longest day of the year in the UK, I surfed for 14 hours at the Wave in Bristol. So that was 40 minutes of each hour. I probably caught about 160 waves, which is a ridiculous amount of waves as anyone's ever been surfing. I burnt just over 10,000 calories, and I've lost 10 kgs, which is about 1.5 stone in the process with training and everything else. The next day I was absolutely shattered. Only still just recovering, but I had a surf on Sunday and I could still do it. I'm still healthy and ready to go.
No, that is absolutely incredible. So you started at stupid o'clock. I was like 7, wasn't it?
7 o'clock. Yeah, I was there at 6. Started surfing at 7 and finished at 9 p.m.
Wow. Was there a buzz around what you were doing there?
Oh man, yeah, it was absolutely amazing. So the wave were absolutely fantastic. I had a little poster that I created with a QR code so people can donate. But people came in the water obviously throughout the whole day because it's a working facility. They weren't just going to close it off for me. And people in the water were absolutely amazing. I had donations. One of the donations was from a red-headed Australian guy, and he was taking the mickey out of. I've tried to use better language there for being the ginger Aussie guy, and he sent a donation saying, "This is Alex, amazing what you're doing." So just the buzz in the water, the buzz on social media, obviously some of the exposure I've had as well since then. But it was absolutely amazing experience. One I'll never forget.
Wow, that's brilliant. Absolutely superb. So what normal, sane person wakes up in the morning and thinks, "Oh, I know what I'll do for charity. I'll do 40 hours of surfing." So who is that guy and why?
So I've surfed because it helps with my mental well-being. I've got my faith, I've got my family, and I've got bodyboarding, and I'd say in that order. I don't think I could have got through life without bodyboarding and those other things. So I thought, well, there's a lot of people out there that just just can't do that. Some people just don't want to, and I totally get that, because you just don't want to be freezing cold in the middle of winter, because it gets pretty damn cold.
Hang on. In the UK, you're freezing cold in the summer as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's cold. It's proper cold. So I'm from Durban in South Africa, and it doesn't get cold ever there, basically. In the water here in the UK, it probably gets down to, the water temperature probably gets down to around 7-8 degrees. Now, that doesn't sound really cold, but imagine duck diving and you're getting brain freeze every time you duck dive, basically. Which is, it's pretty intense.
Jen's just come in saying she's enjoying the chat. Jen, if you've got any questions for Llew, just pop them in the chat, and we'll fire away. I'm just trying to work out why anyone would do what he did. I think I saw one of your social media things, and you were putting something underneath did you get a little bit of chafing?
So there's a company called Leaping Fish Balms. Basically, they make a balm. So a lot of people use like Vaseline, which is petroleum jelly, but obviously that's not very good for the environment, because generally you surf in the ocean and you don't want that in the ocean, do you? So Leaping Fish Balms, they make an all-natural balm, and basically you rub it on any areas that get chafing. And I get it around my neck mostly, because my wetsuit goes around there. And 14 hours.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Even like 2 or 3 hours, you can get chafing around your neck where your wetsuit basically pulls there. That's what I was doing at the time.
Fantastic. And it's National Wellbeing Week this week. I don't know if you were aware of that, but what a great thing to do. And you did it for Mind. So tell us a little bit about the charity and how much you've raised so far.
Yes, so their Mind is a mental wellbeing charity, and their slogan is "They never give up on anybody," it really speaks to me, because everybody goes through struggles, and sometimes you'll have a support network there, and sometimes you don't. But Mind Charity are someone that always on the end of the phone. They've got local offices all over the country, but then they've got a national presence as well. And they really they help people through some of the hardest mental well-being challenges. And because bodyboarding has helped me so much with my mental well-being, I thought it was a perfect charity to raise funds for. We're on £1,780, so it'd be absolutely amazing if we got to 1,800 just for my OCD. But then the target is 2,100, and if anyone had another £300, that would be absolutely amazing as well. But literally every single penny and every pound is absolutely massively appreciated. So if you can only give a pound or 50p, then that is always welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Every little helps. I think someone else uses that slogan, but it really does, and that's the thing. So you got there on Tuesday morning. All right, it was the longest day. The weather was nice, wasn't it? Yeah. And you're there looking at the water, and you're like, right, I'm going to jump in now. What were you thinking at the start of the day?
I was really, I haven't told many people this, but I had a fever the day before, and I thought I was getting a cold. Whenever I get a cold, I get a really bad fever, and I felt pretty damn horrible the day before. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I woke up in the morning, and we spoke about this. I woke up in the morning, I think I only had 3 hours sleep. Woke up and I felt pretty rough, actually. Got to the wave, and it's like, I don't have a cold, I don't have the flu, I don't have COVID or anything like that, so I don't have an excuse. I can't say, I can't go ahead. So I went ahead and started. I did an hour, and it's like, okay, I've got 13 left now. Did another one, I got 12 left now. And throughout the whole day, I just kept on chipping away at the hours. And I actually don't know how I did it. It's a huge blessing that it happened, and I feel really, really grateful that I made it through the whole day.
Your lovely wife was there all day.
Yes. Yeah.
So she deserves a big round of applause, surely.
She's absolutely amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
So no, that was great. And so you've done hour 13 and you've got to jump back in at 8 o'clock or 20 past 8 or whatever, however it worked.
Yeah.
Did you have the energy to actually jump back in at that time?
So at the Wave, the 8 p.m. session was expert barrel. And as a bodyboarder, that is the setting that any setting you go for, that's the one you want.
Okay.
So the last hour, instead of doing 40 minutes, I actually did the whole hour because I wanted to enjoy that last hour.
Fantastic.
I don't know if it was a good idea, but it probably felt like a bad idea at the end. But a few of my bodyboard friends came down, and there were some really good surfers out there, and they respected what I had done, because a lot of people think it was crazy, but if anyone had spent a reasonable amount in the water, they'll know that 14 hours is really tough. And it was absolutely amazing. That last hour, so probably about 1, 2 o'clock, I started getting a headache, and that got worse and worse throughout the rest of the day, which was pretty tough to deal with. But on that last hour, I just started feeling really sick and nauseous. And I literally, the last 10 to 20 minutes, I was literally just really, really slow and lethargic. And I just really struggled to get through those last minutes. But having the other guys there was absolutely fantastic. And also, I knew I had all the support of everyone here at home as well.
No, but you just get through it, don't you? I've done a little bit of nothing like what you did, but something from within comes. So absolutely fantastic. So remind us of the total.
So we're on 1,780 pounds, and the target is 2,100.
Fantastic. And you can go into the end of this when this is all finished. You can go in and you can put a link there so people can find that link, and they can do. Llew, it's been absolutely fantastic chatting to you. I've got one more question for you. But before I do that, I just want to let everybody know who I've got coming next week. Someone who hasn't done 14 hours surfing. However, he still knows an awful lot about training and stuff like that. So let me just lose that banner. I've got Luke Nethercliffe coming in to have a chat next week. And he does a learning platform. So looking forward to catching up with him. But yeah, your final question then, sir, is what advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
I'd say just never, ever give up. Never, ever give up. Yeah.
That's very pertinent, and lean on your friends. And Llew, congratulations on what you did. Thank you so much for coming on my show, and I look forward to seeing the post that says you've hit your target. Thank you so much for being such a lovely guest. All the best. Bye bye.
Thank you, bud. All the best.